Hey everyone, welcome back. Stacker here. In today's numismatic news and information for the 8th day of May 2023, I'm going to welcome you over to JM Bullion so we can look at the live spot prices. We can check out the inventory on those American Silver Eagles as well as the premiums on those Silver Eagles. But before that, huge shout out and a big thank you to all of our channel members. Really appreciate all y'all. Now, over here to JM Bullion. Looks like gold is up 453 to 2033. Silver's down a nickel to 25.88. Platinum up 685 to 1084, and palladium's up as well, 2858 to 1575.76. And we're looking at the premium of an in-stock Silver Eagle is 48.82 less the ask price right there. You're looking at a $22.94 premium. So it hasn't gone up or down since yesterday. Now over here to the United States Mint, and there's probably a reason why we have seen some amazing premiums on those Silver Eagles. That's because, well, the United States Mint has capped it. And really, is that really a great time to cap American Silver Eagle sales right now? Because Americans probably are going to need them, I would think. Maybe, because I'll show you here something really important. Now, this is huge news. I wanted to share this with you before I get anything else going on as far as the numismatic news. This is the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Silver Medal. Yeah, we had, well, if you check this out, now it says back order, and it just says here in red, the expected in-stock date is Monday. It's now Monday. It was July 7th. Now it's August 7, 2023, a whole month later. And folks, what does that say, okay, about, well, the July release of the Morgan and Peace dollar, those uncirculated ones, right? Will we even get those for July, or will those be dropped that day? And could the Mint say, you know what, we're gonna ship those in August, September, October? We don't know. But we'll drop it that day and we'll go from there. And what would make the United States Mint do that? Maybe a lack of silver, right? So we are in some interesting times, and we do need to be paying attention to what's going on with the silver planchets over here at the United States Mint. Because check it out. These are the Silver Eagle planchets, I believe. So let's go to those specs. Yeah, 3/9 fine, 1 troy ounce, 1.598 inches. Yep. Yeah, I tell you, it's really interesting how this is not. And this just became available. When I say this, that's the Abraham Lincoln Presidential Silver Medal became available May 1st. And we saw just maybe 2 to 3 days afterwards that this dropped, that it was on July 7th. Well, now we're on August 7th, and we're not even exactly a week, because it would be at noon today would be a week, right? We are in for some interesting times. Now, it gets even more interesting because I got to show you. Now, here we are at the Google machine, and I looked up China and gold. And who's buying gold? Well, China's buying gold. And, well, that's not all. India's buying gold as well. There's 4 countries that are going on a spending spree for gold. All right. It's incredible. I think Turkey, I believe Singapore, China, and India are those ones that are just really ramping up the gold purchases. It says, this is from Bloomberg, China's gold splurge reaches 6 months as reserves rise again. China increasing gold reserves in April for 6th consecutive month. Tackling global market uncertainties. Yeah, there you go. So they're really just cranking out the gold purchases over there in China. And I imagine, well, what does that mean for us? What does that mean here in the United States? And also, let's face it, gold is near an all-time high, correct? And so what does that mean? Because Mexico did something really interesting, and we haven't really seen all that is basically transpiring. But let's face it, the raw materials and resources and commodities like gold and silver could easily be nationalized by certain countries out there. And what would that do for the price of gold and silver and other industrial metals as well, right? So we are in some interesting times right now. And I think there was a gold mining accident recently in Peru, and hopefully everybody's going to be okay and get out of there all right. Feel bad for those folks, but yeah, that's what we do in pursuit of gold, correct? And let's face it, these are really recent news stories, folks. Look at this. Central banks' gold purchases make a record-breaking start in Q1 of 2023. Yeah, record-breaking start. And this is from Bitcoin.com, and let's face it, they may or may not be biased. This is from news.bitcoin.com. Central bank gold purchases make record-breaking start in Q1 of 2023. 228.4 tons added to the world reserves. And that might be metric tons, I'm not sure. But that is amazing, total world reserves, right? And so if we do end up going to a digital currency, correct, the digital currency could easily be backed by gold. And that would be positioning countries like China, India, And I imagine countries like Russia and South Africa, who have a lot of gold in their stockpiles, to be one or, well, some of the most richest countries in the world when it comes to digital dollars. Wow. So let's go ahead and just get the first paragraph out of the way here, and let me know what you think about what the vernacular and the language they're using here. So central banks continued to consistently purchase gold during the first quarter of 2023, according to the latest report of the World Gold Council. That's a WGC. You'd think they're the authority on gold, right? The Global Gold Statistics Organization. So it's just a statistics organization. That means they look backwards, not forwards, right? Central bank, well, they could use the stats to look forward, but do they really? And do stats really paint a clear picture, or do things like this record-breaking start, did that paint the picture, right? Central banks added nearly 230 tons of gold to their national reserves, representing a 176% rise compared to the purchases made in quarter one. Folks, they're ramping it up. And when you see central banks doing this, what do you think we should do, right? What do you think? Now, it says here, central banks have registered a strong demand for gold during the first quarter of the year, according to the latest report of the WGC, which keeps global stats on gold production and demand. Okay, that's interesting. According to its gold demand trends report, central banks kept buying gold consistently, adding nearly 230 tons during quarter one of 2023. And what will it look like in quarter two of this year? I think it will probably look a lot the same. We're going to see a tremendous rise. It says this represents a rise of 176% over what these institutions purchased in quarter one of 2022, signaling strong demand. And here's where it gets kind of wonky, I think. It says here, however, when compared to the numbers from last quarter, central banks and other institutions, and I had to highlight other institutions because really we were only talking about central banks here, but now the author has included other institutions, and I'm not sure who they were or are, but whatever, that's fine. But it says they reduced their demand significantly, with these institutions purchasing 150.2 tons of gold less. Now, I'm not sure what that means. Now, here's where it gets a little wonky again. It says here, although the WGC states that limited information and delayed reporting make it very difficult to really predict if gold demand will rise or subside this year. Yeah, okay. That sounds like a really word salad political answer, doesn't it? But it says it remains positive in its outcome, stating that, and here we go with another word salad, intentions have consistently been a leading indicator for buying over the last few years, and our central bank surveys suggest little change to the positive trends. What are they saying there, you think? Yeah, I think the writing's on the wall. And it gets even more intense, right? What else is going on out there? Well, check this out. This is also the Google machine, and I put bank failures on there. And there's an interesting article out of the Financial Times, and it's a visual article, and I'm going to be sharing it with you. It's really incredible. But I'll also be sharing some of these headlines with you. It says Warren Buffett faults the handling of bank failures, upbeat on U.S. Berkshire. He says that the bosses should face punishment, in quotes. He backs successor and blames U.S. bank failures on executives. So a lot of finger pointing right now. HuffPost says, let's not play the blame game. Say lawmakers blame for the bank failures. I don't know. It's really interesting how we have all these bank failures, right? And are they going to be subsiding? Are they going to be increasing? Well, what do you think, right? Well, check this out. This is that article from the Financial Times. Bam. This is, like I said, Financial Times. That's FT.com. Visualizing U.S. bank failures, and recognize the language they use in this as well. And it says, fun with flourish. It says, a strange game. The only winning move is not to YOLO uninsured deposits into duration-heavy investments. How about a nice game of chess? Isn't that from that Matthew Broderick movie back in the 80s? Now, this is where they get really funny with the language. The U.S. has a lot of banks, and when they put lot, they put it in italicized, right? So they want to emphasize that. So maybe we shouldn't have a lot, huh? Maybe we have too many banks. Yeah. See what they're doing? Yeah, like weirdly stupid numbers of them. Wow, okay. Weirdly stupid numbers of banks. And if you're reading this, it's probably won't have escaped you. You'll notice, I got to read that again. And if you're reading this, it probably won't have escaped your notice that some of them have been going through a tough time. Yeah, what do they mean by tough time? Yeah, they've been failing, right, and being bought up by other banks. It says your bank failures this year seem suspiciously Californian. I doubt that. Remember, there was one in California, then in New York, then back to California. It says here, so I thought it would be good to have a look at whether U.S. banking is more generally is California. I don't think so. It isn't, it says here, but along the way, so much fun was had creating geospatial data visualizations that it seemed a shame not to share them. Absolutely, I totally agree. This interactive map below shows the location of every FDIC insured bank except the federal rated Bank of Checks Notes Micronesia seized, sized by December 20, seized by 2022 assets. As you can see, pretty East Coast heavy. Okay, well, it's true. All right. Now, let's go to the big boy first. That's this one here in red. That's out of, looks like Ohio. And it shows deposits, it shows assets, and it has their address. And look at that. They take the biggest chunk of the globe right there, right? So that's huge. The next one here is going to be this one. That's a Bank of America. And it says they're out of North Carolina. But look at this. There's two right here. The bigger one, it looks like, is the, Citibank out of South Dakota. And then there's another one. It is going to be Wells Fargo out of South Dakota as well. Check that out. And then some of the smaller banks here. Who's that here? In American Express, Ally Bank, and who are the other ones here? Morgan Stanley. Over here in the West Coast. I don't know what that is, but check this out. Keep on keeping on. Now, bank failures since 2000 have been pretty geographically dispersed, although maybe somewhat East Coast light. Check this out. Every failed U.S. FDIC insured bank's assets. And really, I'm not going to show you every one here, but I do want to show you the big ones, the big boys, if you will. Check it out. This one here, that's WAMU when they went bad in September of 2008, right there. They were out of Las Vegas, Nevada, it looks like. But check this out. Bam, right there. Silicon Valley Bank, 10 March 2023, then back to New York right there. You're looking at Signature Bank, 12 March 2023, and this basically signaled the start of the silver squeeze, folks. That was it. Then that wasn't all, folks. Bam, over to here, 1 May 2023, First Republic Bank. That was a week ago today, folks, all right? Are we going to see more of these? I would think so. And are we going to see the big banks gobbling up the little banks? I think we're going to see a consolidation because I think that's the general attitude that the U.S. has too many banks, like weirdly stupid numbers of banks. So we're going to see a major consolidation where the big banks like JP Morgan or B of A or Wells Fargo, or what is that other one here? Citibank, are going to be buying up these little assets down here all over the country. And maybe, just maybe, we're going to have maybe just a few banks when they roll out that central bank digital currency. How exciting for everybody. Now, this is the timeline of bank failures. And this is, it says right here, this final data viz animates bank failures in the style of the great 1980s Matthew Broderick hacking flick war games. I think you'll agree this is pretty cool if you like that sort of thing. So hold control down to zoom, and then it starts, and it just goes ding, 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 and it starts what's going on. A lot of stuff going on. A lot of stuff going on. Now it says here the abruptness and size of the Silicon Valley Bank, Signature, and First Republic failures really pops out here. The abruptness and size, right? They're the largest since WAMU, right? And 3 of the bank failures this year are the biggest since ever, right? That's huge. All right. Now, it will be interesting to see if this will fizzle out now or continue to fester. I think it's going to fester and keep going until, like I said, they consolidate. Now, it says from across the pond, the very notion that a bank might fail can evoke panic, but as well as an unreasonable number of banks, the U.S. has seriously enviable expertise in bank resolution. There you go. Without drama, this has transformed banks that have broken on Friday into a bank that opens functioning on a Monday without skipping a beat, literally hundreds of times. There you go. Interesting, isn't it? I'll leave a link to the description. This is awesome article. Really good visualizations, all that stuff. Now, over here to Proverbs 28:14. I think it's pretty timely considering what's going on. It says here, Praiseworthy is the man who always fears, but the one who is stubborn of heart will fall into misfortune. And I think that what that means is one fearful of real danger works out precautions to protect themselves, but the overconfident one is going to suffer misfortune. Yikes. I don't think I want to be that dude. No way. Now over here to 395 99.9 KOI and Coin News Radio. This is Neil Diamond, Sweet Caroline. There it is, folks. I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget to hit that like button. And if you do like what you're hearing, please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Stacker out.